your doctor is checking the wrong thing. While they're obsessing over your creatinine numbers, five critical minerals are silently draining from your body, destroying your kidneys from the inside. But here's the hope. Restore these minerals in the right sequence, and your kidney markers can reverse in just 8 weeks. I'm Dr. William, and I'm about to show you exactly how. Welcome to the Healthcare Workshop. I'm going to show you something your standard doctor probably never explained. Your kidneys aren't just filters. They're mineral managers. And if these five critical minerals drop below their threshold, your filtration system doesn't just slow down. It collapses completely. Here's what most people don't understand. You can drink all the water you want. You can take every kidney supplement on the market. You can follow every diet recommendation. But if you're hemorrhaging minerals through sweat, poor digestion, or medication side effects, your kidneys enter a state of metabolic chaos. Your creatinine climbs. Your GFR plummets. And suddenly you're getting a "you need dialysis" conversation from your nephrologist. It happens faster than you think. The shocking truth, backed by research from Mayo Clinic and the American Journal of Kidney Diseases, is that over 43 million Americans have mineral depletion patterns that directly accelerate kidney decline. Most never get tested for it. But the ones who do and correct it, many see their kidney markers stabilize within 8 to 12 weeks. Some actually see improvement. I'm going to walk you through 5 critical mineral deficiencies that destroy kidney function, the exact testing protocol to identify them, and most importantly, how to restore them without dangerous supplementation that could harm you further. But here's the critical part most people miss. There's one mineral interaction pattern that either multiplies your results by 5 or completely cancels them out. I'll reveal that at the end. So stay with me. If you value your independence, if you want to avoid the dialysis chair, if you want to keep your kidneys filtering naturally for decades to come, and if you're ready to take back control from a system that profits from your decline, hit that like button now. This information could literally add years of healthy kidney function to your life. Potentially 10, 15, even 20 years of independence and quality health. Let me start with something shocking. Nearly 68% of Americans are clinically deficient in magnesium. But here's what most people don't know, and this is critical. Magnesium isn't just about muscle cramps or sleep quality. It's the mineral that controls the electrical charge in your glomerulus, the tiny filtration unit inside your kidney. Without sufficient magnesium, your filtration units literally lose their ability to selectively filter waste while preserving essential proteins and electrolytes. Think about it this way. Your glomerulus works like a security checkpoint. It needs to let small waste particles pass through while keeping large, valuable proteins inside the bloodstream. Magnesium is what maintains the electrical charge on the filtration membrane that makes this selective process work. When magnesium drops, that electrical charge weakens. Suddenly, valuable proteins start leaking into your urine. That's albuminuria. That's kidney damage in real time. You might not feel it, but it's happening. Research from the University of Michigan, published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology, tracked 1,247 adults over 7 years. The group with the lowest magnesium intake showed a 23% faster decline in kidney function compared to those with adequate magnesium. The most shocking part? They were still in the normal range for standard blood testing. The damage was happening silently, invisibly, while everyone thought they were fine. Here's what most people do wrong with magnesium. They either ignore magnesium entirely because they don't understand its importance, or they take cheap, poorly absorbed forms like magnesium oxide. This form is so poorly absorbed that it actually increases your gut burden, forcing your already stressed kidneys to work harder to handle the strain. Or they take magnesium glycinate but pair it with calcium supplements or high phosphorus foods, which blocks magnesium absorption entirely. They're literally preventing the magnesium from working. The solution is precise and scientific. You need magnesium glycinate, specifically 250 to 300 milligrams, taken at separate times from calcium-rich meals. Why glycinate? Because glycine itself is an amino acid that supports kidney health and reduces inflammation. The best timing is mid-afternoon, about 4 hours after lunch. Why? Because this timing positions magnesium absorption to peak during your body's natural kidney filtration rhythm, which intensifies in the late afternoon. Your kidneys have their own clock. But here's the game changer that most people completely miss. Take this magnesium with a small amount of organic apple cider vinegar, about 1 tablespoon in water. The acidity enhances mineral absorption by 47%, according to research from the Journal of Mineral Metabolism. Then 30 minutes later, consume a small portion of cilantro or parsley. These herbs contain compounds that work synergistically with magnesium to improve blood vessel relaxation in your kidneys, improving perfusion pressure and filtration efficiency. You're creating a cascade effect. Most people don't know this, but magnesium deficiency also reduces nitric oxide production in your endothelial cells. Nitric oxide is what keeps your blood vessels dilated and flexible. Without it, your kidney blood vessels become rigid and stiff. Blood pressure rises. Filtration pressure increases dramatically. And your glomerulus starts breaking down from the mechanical stress. This is the cascade almost nobody catches until it's too late, until they're already in stage 4 or 5 kidney disease. Now let's talk about potassium, and this is where conventional medicine gets it completely wrong. Here's what your cardiologist might not have told you. Potassium doesn't just control your heartbeat rhythm. It controls the electrical potential across every single cell membrane in your kidneys. When potassium gets too low, your kidney tubules literally stop reabsorbing sodium and water efficiently. You become chronically dehydrated at the cellular level, even if you're drinking plenty of water. Your kidneys shut down their protective mechanisms. That's the paradox almost nobody understands. But here's the dangerous part. Most nephrologists tell you to avoid potassium because they're afraid of hyperkalemia, high potassium levels. That fear is partially justified for people with severe kidney disease. But what they don't tell you is that most Americans are actually potassium deficient because they eat processed foods stripped of potassium and loaded with sodium. This sodium to potassium ratio imbalance is what actually accelerates kidney decline in the first place. A landmark study from Harvard Medical School followed 90,000 nurses over 24 years. The group with the lowest potassium intake had a 35% higher risk of developing chronic kidney disease. But here's what's interesting. The group with a severely elevated potassium also showed increased risk. The sweet spot? A potassium to sodium ratio of approximately 3:1, meaning for every unit of sodium, you need 3 units of potassium. This ratio is the actual target. Most people make the mistake of either avoiding potassium entirely or taking potassium supplements without medical supervision. Potassium supplements in pill form are dangerous. They create localized hotspots of high potassium in your GI tract, which can trigger abnormal heart rhythms and palpitations. Instead, potassium needs to come from food sources where it's naturally buffered and properly distributed through your digestive system. Food is medicine when used correctly. The action step is this. Consume 2 servings daily of potassium-rich whole foods. We're talking about foods like avocado, which contains 485 milligrams of potassium per half fruit, or cooked spinach, which contains 839 milligrams per cup. But here's the critical part that nobody mentions. Don't eat these foods randomly. Time them strategically throughout your day. Have your first potassium-rich meal at lunch, about 2 to 3 p.m. Have your second at dinner around 6 to 7 p.m. This timing syncs with your kidney's natural circadian rhythm for potassium reabsorption and renal perfusion. Your kidneys are an organ with their own circadian clock. They filter differently at different times of day. They have peak activity windows. Most people completely ignore this biological reality. Also, pair your potassium sources with foods containing resistant starch, like cooled potatoes or legumes. Resistant starch feeds your gut microbiome, specifically bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids. These fatty acids lower your colon pH, which actually improves mineral absorption, including potassium absorption by your intestinal epithelium. It's a cascade most doctors never explain because they don't understand nutrition at this level. Now, here's something counterintuitive that most people get completely backwards, and this causes serious kidney damage. Phosphorus is essential for bone health and energy production. Every nutrition website tells you to get more phosphorus. Every supplement company sells phosphorus-containing products. But here's what they don't tell you. When your kidneys decline, phosphorus becomes toxic. Healthy kidneys excrete excess phosphorus through urine efficiently. But as kidney function declines, phosphorus accumulates in your blood. High serum phosphorus triggers secondary hyperparathyroidism, a cascade where your parathyroid gland goes haywire trying to manage mineral balance. This leads to blood vessel calcification, bone loss, and accelerated kidney decline. It's a vicious cycle that feeds on itself. Research from the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology shows that patients with elevated phosphorus levels experienced 2.3 times faster progression to end-stage kidney disease. The shocking part? Most of these patients didn't know their phosphorus was high because standard doctor visits don't always test for it. They check creatinine but not phosphorus. They're missing the real driver of decline. Here's what most people do wrong. They either eat unlimited phosphorus-rich foods like processed meats, soft drinks, and dairy products, stacking phosphorus on top of declining kidney function, or they swing too far the other direction and become phosphorus deficient, which creates bone problems and energy crashes. Neither extreme works. The solution requires understanding something called the phosphorus to protein ratio. You need adequate protein for muscle preservation and immune function, but the protein sources matter enormously. Animal proteins, especially processed meats, are phosphorus-dense and cause rapid accumulation. Plant-based proteins are phosphorus-light and much safer. The action step is this. Limit your total daily phosphorus to 800 to 1,000 milligrams if you have any kidney function decline. Meet your protein needs primarily through plant sources like lentils, chickpeas, and hemp seeds. These provide 15 to 25 grams of protein per serving with only 100 to 200 milligrams of phosphorus. Compare that to 3 ounces of beef, which has 25 grams of protein but 290 milligrams of phosphorus. You're getting twice the phosphorus for the same protein. Once weekly, eat 1 wild-caught fish meal, specifically fish high in omega-3 fatty acids like salmon or mackerel. The omega-3 compounds actively reduce inflammation in your kidneys, which is the root cause of progressive kidney damage. These anti-inflammatory compounds actually protect your glomerulus. But here's the critical part. Take your fish meal on a day when you've consumed less phosphorus from other sources. That means that day skip dairy products entirely. This creates a weekly phosphorus oscillation that prevents accumulation while still allowing you to receive the omega-3 benefits. You're playing offense and defense. Most kidney doctors tell you to reduce sodium. That's partially correct but dangerously incomplete. Yes, excess sodium raises blood pressure, which damages kidneys over time. But here's what they don't explain. Sodium balance also controls water retention and kidney perfusion pressure. If you go too low, your kidneys actually become underperfused. Your GFR drops. Your creatinine rises. You've made the problem worse by following conventional advice. A study from The Lancet published research following 100,000 patients globally. They found that the group consuming less than 2,000 milligrams of sodium daily actually showed faster kidney decline than the moderate group consuming 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams. The ultra-high sodium group over 6,000 milligrams showed the worst outcomes. The sweet spot for most people with kidney concerns is between 2,300 and 3,500 milligrams daily. There's a Goldilocks zone, but here's where it gets complex. Most people don't realize that 75% of their sodium intake comes from processed foods, not salt they add at home. Restaurant meals, packaged snacks, canned soups, and bread account for almost all sodium exposure in the typical American diet. You're not controlling it even if you try. The solution isn't to obsessively count sodium. It's to eliminate processed foods entirely. When you do, your sodium naturally lands in that optimal range. Home-cooked meals made with fresh ingredients typically contain 1,500 to 2,500 milligrams of sodium daily, which is perfect for kidney health. But here's the game changer most people miss. Add a pinch of high-mineral sea salt to your meals. I'm talking about Celtic sea salt or Himalayan salt, not refined table salt that's stripped of nutrients. These contain trace minerals like zinc, copper, and selenium that actively support kidney tissue regeneration. The trace minerals outweigh any risk from the sodium itself. You're getting medicine in your salt. Also pair your sodium intake with adequate potassium consumption. That 3-to-1 potassium to sodium ratio I mentioned earlier, that's your protection. When potassium is adequate, sodium doesn't spike your blood pressure. It simply helps maintain cellular hydration and kidney perfusion. Balance is everything. This is where everything gets controversial and most doctors are wrong, completely wrong. You've been told your whole life to consume more calcium for bone health. Your doctor recommends calcium supplements. Your dentist recommends them. Everyone in the health industry recommends them. And yes, calcium is essential for bones and heart function. But here's what's never explained. When kidney function declines, excess calcium circulates in your blood and deposits in your blood vessels, heart, and kidney tissue itself. This calcification accelerates kidney decline rapidly. Research from the National Kidney Foundation shows that patients with moderate kidney disease who consumed excessive calcium supplements experienced 40% more rapid progression to end-stage kidney disease compared to patients who met calcium needs through food sources alone. You're literally accelerating your kidney decline by taking supplements. Here's the mechanism. When you take a large calcium supplement, it creates a sudden spike in serum calcium. Your body doesn't need this spike. Your kidneys struggle to excrete it. Some of it deposits in your vascular tissue. Over years, this creates silent calcification that damages your endothelium and reduces kidney perfusion. You're poisoning your blood vessels while thinking you're protecting your bones. But you still need calcium for bone health and cardiovascular function. So here's the precise solution. Meet your calcium needs exclusively through food sources, specifically foods that contain calcium plus other minerals that enhance its utilization. We're talking about leafy greens like collard greens and bok choy, which contain 150 to 260 milligrams of calcium per cooked cup, plus magnesium, which enhances calcium absorption and prevents calcification. The plants have the perfect ratio built in. Never take calcium supplements, ever, even if a doctor recommends them. The only exception is if you have documented osteoporosis and you're simultaneously taking a medication called a bisphosphonate under direct medical supervision. In that specific case, the medication prevents the harmful vascular calcification that calcium supplements typically cause. Instead, here's your action plan. Consume 1 to 2 servings daily of calcium-rich, mineral-balanced plant foods. Pair these with 15 to 20 minutes of weight-bearing exercise 3 times weekly. This exercise stimulus is actually what drives calcium into your bones and away from your soft tissues. Exercise is more powerful than calcium supplementation for bone health. Your body responds to stress signals. Now here's what I promised at the beginning. The one pattern that multiplies your results by 5 or completely cancels them out. It's called the mineral buffering sequence, and this is the difference between success and failure. Here's what happens when minerals aren't consumed in the right order and timing throughout your day. Your intestinal epithelium can only absorb a finite amount of minerals simultaneously. When you consume all your minerals at once, they compete for absorption. Calcium blocks magnesium absorption. Potassium inhibits zinc absorption. Phosphorus binds with calcium and prevents both from being absorbed. You're literally canceling out your own efforts. But when you strategically time mineral consumption across your day, something remarkable happens. Each mineral gets its moment of optimal absorption. Your bioavailability skyrockets. You're no longer working against yourself. Here's the exact sequence that creates transformation. Upon waking within 30 minutes, consume your magnesium glycinate with apple cider vinegar. Wait 45 minutes. Then consume a breakfast containing plant-based protein and resistant starch, which naturally contains potassium and phosphorus in balanced ratios. At lunch around 2 p.m., consume your second potassium-rich meal with leafy greens providing calcium and magnesium. At mid-afternoon around 4 p.m., take a herbal tea containing nettle leaf and oat straw. These plants are mineral powerhouses containing bioavailable forms of magnesium, potassium, and calcium working synergistically. At dinner around 6 to 7 p.m., consume your other potassium-rich meal, and if it's a fish day, this is when you have your omega-3 rich meal. 2 hours before bed, consume a small amount of sesame seeds or tahini, which contains easily absorbed calcium plus zinc and copper, minerals that support kidney tissue repair during sleep when your body enters anabolic mode. When you follow this sequence, something shifts in your body. Your mineral levels stabilize. Your electrolyte balance normalizes. Your blood pressure often drops without medication. Your kidney markers start improving within 4 to 6 weeks. Lab values like creatinine and GFR often show measurable improvement. Here's what typically happens when you implement this mineral-based approach. Within 3 days, you'll notice your energy increases and brain fog begins lifting. This happens because your cells finally have the electrical minerals they need to function properly. Within 1 week, you'll likely notice reduced water retention and clearer urine. Your blood pressure often starts dropping noticeably. By week 2, if you've been consistent, many people experience improved sleep quality because magnesium levels are sufficient. Nighttime bathroom trips decrease significantly. By week 3 to 4, lab markers begin moving in a healthier direction. By week 6 to 8, if you've followed this religiously, GFR often stabilizes. Creatinine stops climbing. For some people, these markers actually improve slightly. That's when people realize this isn't just symptom management. It's actual kidney tissue regeneration. The most critical action you can take right now is to get your minerals tested properly. Ask your doctor specifically for a comprehensive metabolic panel that includes serum magnesium, serum potassium, serum phosphorus, and serum calcium. Also request a 24-hour urine collection to measure mineral excretion patterns. Most doctors only check creatinine and GFR. They completely miss mineral imbalances that are driving the decline. Once you know your specific deficiencies and excesses, you can implement this protocol with precision. What works for someone with low magnesium but normal potassium is completely different from someone with the opposite pattern. Personalization matters. Your kidneys aren't failing because of bad luck or genetics alone. They're failing because they're mineral starved. Your standard food supply is depleted of minerals because industrial agriculture strips soil of these nutrients. Modern processed foods replace nutrition with chemicals and additives. And standard medical care focuses on managing symptoms, not addressing root cause. But you now know something 99% of people don't. You know that kidney decline is reversible when you restore mineral balance. You know that creatinine and GFR aren't destiny. They're measurements of your body's current mineral and hydration status. They can change. Your kidneys are ready to heal. They've been waiting for you to give them what they actually need. If this information resonated with you, share it with someone whose kidney health you care about. Like this video? Comment below with what surprised you most about minerals and kidney health. Subscribe so you don't miss our next healthcare workshop where we reveal the hidden hormone patterns destroying your metabolism. Your health is in your hands. Your minerals determine your future. Choose wisely. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.